Imagine a tranquil pond at dawn. The surface of the water is as still as glass, reflecting the soft colors of the morning sky. A gentle mist rises, and the only sound is the quiet ripple as a fish breaks the surface for a moment before disappearing again into the depths. It is a picture of perfect peace. From above, it seems so simple, so serene, but beneath this calm exterior lies a world of extraordinary complexity, a hidden community teeming with life, where survival depends on a delicate and intricate balance of conditions. This is the world of aquaculture, the farming of our planet's waters. We often think that for a fish to live, all it needs is water. But that is only the beginning of the story. The water itself is not just a liquid, it is an entire environment, a life support system. For the fish that swim within it, the quality of this environment is everything. It is their air, their climate, and their home all rolled into one. Just as we need clean air to breathe and the right temperature to be comfortable, fish have their own precise requirements. Understanding these needs is the key to unlocking the secrets of their hidden world and ensuring their well-being. This underwater world is governed by a set of invisible rules. These rules are written in the language of chemistry and physics. They dictate how much energy a fish has, how fast it can grow, and even how it behaves. For the fish farmer, mastering these rules is essential. They are not merely keepers of fish, they are guardians of an entire ecosystem, albeit a man-made one. Every decision they make, from the type of food they provide to the way they manage the water, has a profound impact on the lives swimming just out of sight beneath the quiet surface. So let us dive deeper, beyond the shimmering surface, to explore this remarkable environment. We will uncover the hidden forces that shape the lives of these aquatic creatures. We will see how tiny changes in their world can have enormous consequences. The story of aquaculture is not just about raising fish. It is a story about understanding and recreating the very essence of a natural habitat. It is a journey into a world that is all around us, yet so often unseen, a world that holds vital lessons about the delicate connections that sustain all life on Earth. One of the most critical elements for life in the water is something we cannot even see: oxygen. Fish, like all animals, need to breathe to survive, but instead of taking oxygen from the air, they absorb it from the water through their gills. These delicate, feathery organs are wonderfully efficient at extracting tiny oxygen molecules dissolved in the water. The amount of available oxygen determines the vitality of the pond. When oxygen levels are high, fish are active and healthy. They swim with purpose, feed eagerly, and grow strong, their bodies powered by this invisible fuel. But if the oxygen level drops too low, the underwater world begins to suffocate. This condition, known as hypoxia, is a silent threat. Fish become sluggish and weak. They may swim to the surface, gasping for air at the boundary between their world and ours. This is a desperate act, a sign that their environment is failing them. If the oxygen does not return, the fish will perish. Fish farmers must constantly monitor oxygen levels, often using aerators that bubble air into the pond, churning the surface to help the water absorb more oxygen, especially during warm nights when levels naturally fall. Closely linked to oxygen is another vital factor: temperature. Fish are cold-blooded creatures, which means their body temperature matches that of the water around them. Temperature, therefore, acts as the master controller of their lives. It dictates their metabolism, the speed at which their bodies work. In warmer water, a fish's metabolism speeds up. It digests food faster, grows more quickly, and needs more oxygen to fuel this high-energy lifestyle. Each species has an ideal temperature range where it thrives, a comfort zone where it can grow and reproduce successfully. The connection between temperature and oxygen is crucial. As water gets warmer, it holds less dissolved oxygen. This creates a dangerous paradox for the fish. Just when their metabolism is speeding up and they need more oxygen, the water around them is providing less of it. This is why a sudden heat wave can be so devastating for a fish pond. The fish become more active and require more oxygen, but the warm water cannot supply it. It is a delicate balancing act. and the fish farmer must manage both temperature and aeration carefully to prevent disaster and keep the underwater community breathing easily. Beyond oxygen and temperature, the water's chemistry plays a silent but powerful role. One of the most important measures is pH, which tells us how acidic or alkaline the water is. Think of it as a scale of sourness. Pure water is neutral with a pH of 7. Anything lower is acidic, and anything higher is alkaline. Most fish are comfortable in a narrow pH range, typically between 6.5 and 8.5. This chemical balance is fundamental to their health. It affects everything from the function of their gills to the effectiveness of their immune systems, protecting them from disease. When the pH level swings too far in either direction, it can be incredibly harmful. Water that is too acidic can irritate a fish's skin and gills, making it difficult for them to breathe. It can feel like a chemical burn, causing stress and making them vulnerable to infections. On the other hand, water that is too alkaline can be just as damaging, interfering with their ability to get rid of waste from their bodies. Sudden changes in pH are particularly dangerous. Fish farmers must regularly test the water and sometimes add natural substances like limestone to keep the pH stable and within that safe, comfortable zone. Another key aspect of water chemistry is salinity, which is the amount of dissolved salt in the water. This is what defines the two great aquatic realms, the fresh water of rivers and lakes and the salt water of the oceans. Freshwater fish like carp or tilapia have bodies adapted to an environment with very little salt. Saltwater fish like salmon or sea bass are built for the opposite. Their bodies have sophisticated systems to manage the high salt concentration of their surroundings. Each type is a masterpiece of evolution, perfectly suited to its home. For this reason, a fish cannot simply be moved from one type of water to another. A freshwater fish placed in the ocean would quickly become dehydrated, as the salt in the sea pulls water out of its body. A saltwater fish in a freshwater lake would have the opposite problem. Its cells would swell with too much water. Even small, sudden changes in salinity can cause immense stress. In aquaculture, maintaining the correct salinity is paramount. It is about respecting the ancient biological boundaries that define where these creatures can and cannot live, ensuring their internal balance is not thrown into chaos. Light is, another powerful guiding force in the aquatic world. It really is the conductor of the underwater orchestra, setting the daily and seasonal rhythms of life. For many fish species, the cycle of day and night, which is totally controlled by light, dictates their most fundamental behaviors. It tells them when to be active and search for food, and when to rest and, hide from predators. Some fish are diurnal, active during the daylight hours, while others are nocturnal, preferring the cover of darkness. The length of the day also signals the changing of the seasons, which can trigger important life events like migration and spawning. In aquaculture, light can be a tool. By controlling the lighting conditions, fish farmers can influence the behavior and growth of their fish. For example, extending the daylight hours with artificial lighting can sometimes encourage fish to eat more and grow faster. For species like salmon, manipulating the light cycle can be used to simulate the changing seasons, encouraging them to mature and prepare for their transition from freshwater to saltwater at just the right time. It's a way of communicating with the fish in a language they understand, a language of light and shadow to guide their development. However, just as with other factors, the wrong kind of light can cause problems. Too much direct, intense sunlight can increase the water temperature too quickly and cause stress for the fish. It can also lead to the explosive growth of algae. While some algae are a natural part of the ecosystem, an uncontrolled algal bloom can be very dangerous. During the day, these blooms produce a lot of oxygen, but at night they consume it, causing oxygen levels to plummet and threatening the entire fish population. A healthy balance is needed, with enough light for natural cycles, but not so much that it disrupts the system. Managing light is therefore a crucial skill. Farmers might use shade cloths over outdoor ponds to protect them from the harshest midday sun. In indoor tank systems, They use carefully timed lighting systems that mimic natural patterns. This control over light and shadow helps create a stable and predictable environment, reducing stress and allowing the fish to follow the natural rhythms that have guided their ancestors for millions of years. It is really another piece of the puzzle in creating a world where these creatures can not only survive, but truly flourish. The final piece of this complex puzzle involves keeping the water clean. In any environment with living creatures, waste is produced. Fish release ammonia through their gills and in their feces. In a closed system like a pond or a tank, this ammonia can quickly build up. Ammonia is a pollutant. It is highly toxic to fish, even in small amounts. It can damage their gills, disrupt their nervous system, and if left unchecked, it will ultimately poison the water. Managing this waste is one of the greatest challenges in aquaculture, a constant battle against pollution from within. Fortunately, nature provides a solution. Beneficial bacteria act as a natural cleanup crew. These microscopic allies convert the toxic ammonia into less harmful substances called nitrites, and then into even safer nitrates. This process is called the nitrogen cycle. Fish farmers cultivate these bacteria in filters, creating a living water purification system. The nitrates can then be absorbed by plants or managed through regular water changes. It's a beautiful example of using natural processes to maintain a healthy environment, turning waste into something harmless. As we have seen, the world of a fish is a web of interconnected factors. Temperature affects oxygen levels, pH influences the toxicity of ammonia, light drives the growth of algae, which in turn impacts both oxygen and pH. No single factor exists in isolation. They are all woven together in a delicate dance of cause and effect. A change in one area sends ripples throughout the entire system. The art of successful aquaculture lies in understanding and managing these connections, in seeing the pond not as a collection of individual fish, but as one single living organism. This pursuit of balance is more important today than ever before. As the world's population grows, we look to the oceans and rivers for sustainable sources of food. Well-managed aquaculture offers a powerful solution, providing healthy protein while reducing pressure on wild fish stocks. But it must be done with care, with a deep respect for the creatures we are raising and the environments we are creating for them. By mastering this delicate balance, we can ensure the well-being of the fish and provide for ourselves, securing a healthier, more sustainable future for both people and our planet's hidden aquatic worlds.